What up, guys? How are you guys doing today? Hopefully pretty well. Hopefully pretty well. So today, I'm going to be lubing some switches and streaming the build, obviously. I normally don't do a lot of like lubing on stream, and I actually already tub lubed all the components. Just gotta build the switches. But you know, it's crazy how working from home actually means that you do more work, I think. At least to some extent, I think it does. How you guys doing, everybody? Everything's good here, man. Little mellow, like, I don't know, I'm a pretty interactive person when I work, so it's kind of unique to be like working from home a bunch and still getting a lot of stuff done, but like collaborating directly a lot less than previously. Obviously, right? Social distancing and stuff. Actually, I think I forgot to kick on my air conditioner as cool as I wanted it. I like it cold. Most people don't like it as chilly as I do. But I'm gonna turn that all the way down to 66. Extroverts all over the country are going mad right now, right? Point introverts, no joke. Yeah, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal to me. It's just I definitely prefer hanging out with other people and doing stuff. But you know, I mean, you kind of get into a routine, right? So like I have a work computer here right now, and then like I just have my whole like daily workflow. And if any of you guys are stuck at home now doing a bunch of telework or something that you weren't doing previously, I think that's kind of the key, is like getting into a habit. Like I gotta wake up at whatever specific time exactly and, you know, do my routine, etc. I think that's the secret to doing it right. This is what we've been practicing for, people. Practicing what? Killer crossovers. Thanks for following the channel. So I did figure out the sound issue, but I still can't get on this one screen this text to stay in front of the animation. I don't know. Oh, introvert practicing. Racing giraffe, go introverts. I mean, I'm team extrovert, but that's okay. Anyway, like I said, we're going to be lubing some switches today, so I'm going to jump right in and start building these, and we can start chatting, and I'll show you guys a little bit that I normally don't. But now that we have the micro vision, as TSC always likes to call it, I can show you what a lubed spring and stem kind of look like, tub lubed at least, under a microscope. So without further ado, let me pick one of these out and do just that. Oof, this is a creamy spring. So Zeal springs are known to have a little bit of pinging, quite a bit. So in order to reduce that, I still haven't created a button for that. That's terrible of me. So in order to reduce that pinging, I don't know if you... Hold on. So in order to reduce that pinging, I've tub lubed these springs, which is pretty wasteful, and I use grease, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people will use oil, and oil's fine. I actually like grease more. I think that it has a tendency to stay right where it's at more and do a little bit better of a job. But you can see there's like a soft coating all over that spring, such that you can actually see it with the naked eye a bit. And that would kind of be my my recommendation. So you can just like barely see a coating. Microvision. We shall inherit the earth separately and in our homes, in our own homes. Hey, you know what? To each their own. If you are an introvert, I'm okay with it. You aren't bothering anybody, right? Unless they force you to go outside. In which case, then you might bother them. But just to get back, hanging out on your own. I think you could be an introvert and be into the outdoors, though. I think that's actually kind of common. A lot of outdoorsy people do outdoorsy things alone. Outdoorsy extroverts, I think, are into sports. Like team sports. I think that's how that works. No, Kitty, your lube shipped today. What kind of lube did you get? And what are you planning on using it for? Also, let me know if the music and or sound or video or anything is really off, because I mean, I would expect that you guys would share that with me no matter what, but you know, as I make adjustments to the setup around. Ooh, here's probably the creamiest looking one that I've seen in this whole thing. So the problem with tub lubing springs, by the way, is that you need to really separate them afterward, because the springs totally want to like pop together. Here you go. So that's like a super creamy looking one. It's very visible by the naked eye. It's not actually that much more under microscope, but this is like a Kanye West song. Really? We're listening to the same things? You got 205 grade 0, 3203, and 3204. Ooh, like how much? Any upside down or upside to Zeal Springs? Yeah, they come with Zeal switches, which are pretty good. Oh, outdoorsy extroverts do CrossFit. It is known. Got it. Got it. What up, Talisman? How you doing? I think you were getting... I think it was in getting out of the tub. Yeah, Zeal Springs are not the best springs. They're not terrible. They're just tight around the housing. And it may not be that the springs are tight. It may actually be that the housing dimensions are tight. I've never tried to swap Zeal Springs into any other switch, so I can't rightly say that that's the case. But meh. So this is kind of why I like tub lubing, because even though I'm bullshitting and chatting with you guys and not just like focus driven on like smashing these springs into here all quick, there's 20 down, right? And we only have 90 switches. I'm not gonna play the Kanye West song because it's probably copyrighted. And YouTube has this like desire to like demonetize all the content. Not that I'm monetizing YouTube anyway, but if I ever decide to, where there's any copyright thing, and that's actually not that bad. The worst would be if there were copyright strikes. So I try, this is like a no copyright required streaming mix. I've done music services where I pay, like, you know, $5 a month or whatever, and I actually still pay them even though I'm not using their service. I should stop. That's a whole other thing though. But basically, like, I'll still take hits. It's just I own the rights to it. so I can dispute it. But it's like so frequent. It's basically every video has some kind of claim against it, copyright wise, because there's automation to that, including on Twitch. And on Twitch they mute the VOD in that area. Gotta get that YouTube money. I mean, I would need to have a much bigger YouTube following in order to monetize it, especially to monetize it to any real extent. I'm not saying it's not doable. Like, I'm sure Nathan Kim is making money off Twitch. I don't know how much he's making off YouTube, though. In fact, it's actually, Nathan has a chat command, I think, for telling you how many people are subbed to him. So you can probably figure out pretty easily how much he's making on Twitch. But, his videos don't have enough views, I think, on YouTube to be a significant amount of money. How about hiring a 3-piece jazz band to play live? That would be great. And if I had the money to do that, I probably wouldn't be worried about getting sick or anything like that at all from work things, because I would just literally hole up in my house and do nothing for the next year. I'd probably still stream because, you know, it'd be fun, but I'd stream something completely different. Nah, I'd stream this too. But I would also stream other things, because what else are you going to do with all your time if you're that wealthy? I'm not saying I couldn't hire a 3-piece jazz band for some period of time. It just wouldn't be every stream. Exactly, literally, hang out. Oh, hi, I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying there. I see what you're referencing there, Talisman. I have never hung off of, nor has any person ever hung off of, the thing that could probably hang people off of if you really wanted to. I shouldn't even say probably. You certainly could. Just probably not in my office, because I'm not into that thing. Foremost Bear, thanks for the sub, man. I appreciate it. I really do. I really, really do. And welcome to the channel. You know, this is the spot. 6:30 on Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, and mostly I'm doing 10 a.m.s on Sundays also. There may be some change-ups at some point in the future, especially with the telework stuff that's going on. Man, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I was reading an article earlier today about nonsense that's going on right now, and that people may not actually have an immunity after they've caught it and passed the virus, which in my mind would make this like one of the most terrifying things in the entire world ever. Thanks for the board. Of course, man. Of course. This is going to be a beautiful board. It's funny because now I've built like, what, 4 Matrix 1.2 OGs? I don't even know how many were made, but it's, I like them a lot. They are a little bit loud. I guess my number one issue with them would be that the stock PCB is not QMK, and then the next biggest complaint would be they're fairly loud. The spacebar and that whole bottom row make a fairly large amount of sound. Not like they're crazy annoying or anything, just louder than the rest of the keyboard in comparison to many other keyboards. Probably a remix of a Taylor Swift. Gotta hire a DJ to spin some chill step in the background. I mean, that's basically what's happening. It's just, you know, it's just I'm not hiring them. They're just doing it. I don't know. It like the whole like coronavirus thing. I'm not like super paranoid, but like, you know, every time. So I traveled in January, February, well, both, but ever since I traveled to Florida in like January, I've had like, I did actually get sick. Like I had an upper respiratory thing that affected me for a few days, and then I kind of got over it, but I've had like this just, you know, low grade like irritation in my upper respiratory. Like I'll cough every now and then. It's not like super common, and I guess everybody actually coughs every now and then, the natural human thing, like more than one time per day probably at least. But like, because I had that, and I feel like it's still very like tapering down slowly over time, like it makes me super paranoid, you know, because I'm like, am I sick? It's irritating. How did Wednesday night become so busy for keyboard streamers? You got 4 now. You see 5. Oh, yeah, so Mechs on Deck started doing theirs quite a while ago. Nathan, once he went full-time, Teja, right, has been just kind of streaming a lot. Like, a lot more than he ever did before. And then, I mean, Tiny, Minterly, they haven't all been doing Wednesdays, but whatever. Yeah, that's kind of why, that's another reason why I'm like contemplating giving up the Wednesday night stream. Like, it's just it's a night where both I want to see other people's stuff that's being made, and it's like super competitive on Wednesday nights. And like my Sunday stream, which is more reaching out to the Euro people because it's in the morning, does so much better that I'm like, I should find a better time to like reach more people. A time where people want to see keyboard stuff, but where people aren't otherwise keyboard streaming. And with telework stuff, I mean, that's actually kind of more doable for me now. So it's definitely a consideration. Like, there's nothing preventing me. Oh, 5, yep, you could wish you could watch them all. I like watching pretty much all those people do streams at some point. I used to watch Teja like all the time. I like Nathan. I personally like his keyboard content a lot. I'm not knocking him playing games. I have streamed games a couple times a long time ago, like nothing that anyone would have seen because I was streaming popular games and I was brand new, right? So you don't get any viewers. Partially it was for friends to be able to watch or whatever, and partially it was just to test it out, see if it was a thing I wanted to do. But like, while I would be down to do that, I almost feel like it would need to be like a B channel. That's a hard thing to say, right? Because growing a Twitch following is like, you really don't want to grow a second Twitch following. Why am I short one spring? That like does not make sense. Are one of these springs doubled up? That's what I need to look at. That would be super shitty. Or did one of them literally go missing somewhere when I was taking it all apart? Oh, no. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, there's extra switches, but I don't want one of them to be doubled up is really what I don't want. Which is a thing that can happen. You don't think you will only watch Kaya for games. She's enthusiastic. Yeah, enthusiastic and hilarious. Now is a really awkward time to get sick. Yeah, no shit. It really would be. Because then you'll be stressing about it. You don't think you're sick. It's like a throat clearing cough. It sucks. Flasian, man, what up? How you doing? Hopefully you're doing really well. Hopefully you're doing great, in fact. You don't watch NK streams anymore because they are too crowded. We've spoken to him about it. I mean, I'm happy for his success. I like watching him, and he still responds to me every now and then if I pop in and say something. So, you know, I really am happy for him. Like, I'm happy he's growing his thing, and he's gone full-time. Like, full-time is not really a goal of mine. I mean, I guess if it did super well, I would do it, maybe. But it would have to do extraordinarily well. Quakeum's rule, check your lap first. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it didn't fall down while I was pulling them out of the tub. I'm really just more worried at this point that there was a double up. No? Nope. Anyone get that reference? I wonder if anyone will. Oh. It will be one of life's mysteries, because I'm not going to spend too much time on it. If we are down to 89 switches, we'll still be okay. But I will comb the floor for it afterward. Definitely not a good time to involuntarily kiss strangers on the lips. What? So confusing. Doing the same, left house once, including getting mail from last week. Blasian, that's rough, man. I understand, though. Getting back in. You've been going for walks, trying to offset the sitting, sure. Definitely not a good time. Yeah, oh, yeah. Run every single switch through microvision. I am definitely not going to do that, no KB. I mean, I can see it. I can see them from here. There's no double up, so one of them must have literally just gone missing. I'm just checking again on the sides. From another angle. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what happened to that switch. Whoop. I mean, I guess it's possible it's in this one. And that would be super, super awkward. Whatever. Pretty sure it's not in that one. So I stack these cups sometimes, so it's very possible it like flew out of one of them while I was separating all the switches. Speaking of missing, this would be an excellent time to mysteriously disappear. Yeah, don't do that. Whoa, talisman. Yeah, those are the same. Wait, nothing to see there. Mysteriously go missing, man. That would be terrible. That would be the talk of the keyboard community, though. I guess if it were me that you're talking about, it's like gone, yo. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens, man. Like, hopefully, pretty sure we're not gonna be cleared by Easter. I realize that that may sound divisive, but I think a lot of people are just planning on it, or expecting it to be shorter than it will likely be. When basically all the world's scientists out there who study epidemics or disease in general are pretty much like, it's not going to be short. I don't know. I watched, so you're saying you want to cement shoes? Jeez. Everyone assumed that you simply perished in place. That's terrible. Like, no one would know or find you and just be like, oh, I don't know what happened to him. Gone. I mean, I have some IRL friends who are into this hobby. I'm pretty sure news would get out if I quote unquote perished in place. Jeez, this is a morbid subject, man. I don't want to perish in place. Or at all. At least not anytime soon. I may feel differently one day. Hopefully when I'm very old and my body does not like me anymore, it'll be like, yes. Done. I wonder, so obviously people in the Spanish flu would have been super bored compared to us, but like, I wonder what perspective changed then that maybe we've lost now. Like, people must have just been so much more patient with needing to wait for things in general after that. Like, I don't know, we just hung out in our houses, tried not to die. It's crazy how all the different areas in the US have completely different patterns with this thing though. Some don't seem affected very much at all. Yeah, so some of those places, like, the social behavior is different, but also populations are different, right? I think universally places with incredibly high population where they've had exposure, like, they're getting a lot of cases, right? The more stacked on top of each other you're going to be, like, the more germs are going to get spread. I wonder though if it follows the pattern of like other things like flu, right? Like, are people just getting the flu a lot in New York City every year? Like, more so than in rural Kansas? Don't know. Some places aren't testing yet either. I mean, I think a lot of the US is not really testing, right? Shocks. Like, the vast majority of people are not getting tested because tests aren't that available. Kind of a bummer. Especially when you consider that places like South Korea, which ramp testing up like really fast, were able to effectively halt or slow dramatically the progression of this so far. It's just kind of crazy because it's hard to do science on so little data points and so little time. I watched ABCABA, I think is what the guy's YouTube thing is, where he shows a trend analysis comparison of different diseases over time, of different pandemics over time, and like it goes pretty slow for the first like 70 or 80 or 90 days or whatever, and then it hits the end of where SARS-CoV-2 or whatever, COVID-19, where that ends, and then everything accelerates a lot, and you can kind of see the trends change a lot for different diseases. And we just have so little data that is trustworthy or have the ability to have had enough time to try and understand it at this point, that it's like, it's pseudoscience almost. I'm not saying it's not valuable. I'm saying it's not pseudoscience. It is science. It's just science in the absence of hindsight, right? A lot of times, mostly science is science of pandemics, science of things like this. We just analyze it in post. It's like, yep, it had its effect. Now we're examining how it worked so we can maybe make better choices in the future. But here we've been fairly free of pandemic level disease in the US and worldwide spreading stuff that, like, we don't have all things in place to make the right decisions, I think, governmentally. Like, some places are trying really hard. California's trying. I mean, I'm not applauding the California government. I have my major gripes with it, but they are definitely trying. I'm very old and my body hasn't liked me for a good time. New York, for example, yeah, they really are packed in. I mean, it's a lot of people in a very small, it's not that small, but it, like, some of the highest densities are very small areas with a lot of population. The period where we just hung out and waited for things would be known as the 1970s. I don't know about that, man. I mean, things happened-ish in the 70s, kinda. It's kind of funny. So I've not had as many keyboard build orders coming in. So that's a reason that I may nix Sundays at some, or not Sundays, one day of the streaming a week. But I have other, like, projects that I've been wanting to do or I've had and I haven't done. It's funny because Jay, I think, said that on Friday he's going to be doing a Nixie clock. Well, I ordered a VFD clock. So I'll be doing that at some point. I have some, like, macro pad stuff. I have, like, the Navi 10. I have a bunch of my boards that need work done to them. Some that need to be rebuilt. Some that need to just be outright built that I've never built on stream or whatever. So it's not like I don't have content, but it's potentially a reason to slow down that type of content and start making more of the other types of content that I want to make. I don't want to give up Wednesdays, so I feel like maybe I'll mix it up, and when at some point where there's a demarc, I'll mix it up by doing something a little different on one of the days. Maybe something shorter, a little more concise than like a full keyboard build. I'd like to try and relate it to keyboards, not just to electronics, because, well, plenty of you guys are mostly here for the boards and not the electronics thing, right? Which is why there are only so many people that stream building boards. You can make some Anthrax. That's terrible. First of all, I can't make Anthrax. I think I'd need, like, cows or something in order to get that right. And second, that sounds terrible. You want to be different and spread something new yourself? Wow. Already bored with Corona. I want to catch whatever is next. Corona has become too egalitarian. Exclusive disease? You need to get that Ebola. If you want to be all special, or hantavirus. How about that? I hear hemorrhagic fevers are the best fevers. They're definitely the rarest. And the most terrible. Oh, Shocks, he started his clock yesterday? I didn't know. I didn't watch him yesterday, so did not know at all. I think my clock will be a one-day build, and mine is a VFD clock, the one that I ordered, not a Nixie clock. Nixies are great, and I will probably do one of those at some point. In fact, I think this seat is good. Good thing this seat is not hair catching style. It's got like a mesh material. How's the BDSM setup? Jeez. Never ever gonna change, huh? Mine would only cause explosive diarrhea, no death. It'd just be the shittiest disease. Racing Giraffe, it's pretty good. I did not do much since the last one. I really wanted to move the monitors and camera over to the part that's hanging next to it, just waiting now. I just didn't have the time, which is crazy. You'd think I'd have all the time in the world. I did some stuff right after the stream on Sunday, but then Monday, Tuesday, and obviously today, it was just work. And the crazy thing is I mostly don't want to hang out in here all day if I'm working in here all day. I mean, I like my office, but now it feels like an office. Now it feels like my work office, not just my, like, this plus this room. So I closed the door because I don't want the cats in here. Like, they'll climb on things, they'll get paw prints all over here, and they'll just be jerks. So I don't really want them in here. But like, my work computer is now sitting over here, and then my regular main rig, and then this streaming rig, which is also another usable computer, and then I have this rig right here, which was my previous streaming rig actually. And like, there's a lot of computers in here, a lot of lights, a lot of heat is generated in this room. Ditch the cats, then solved. I'm not gonna ditch the cats. I love the cats, and now would be the worst time in the world to get rid of the pets that, you know, want to hang out. Also, the morale of my pets is literally higher than ever before, because I am home all day, and when I come out of those doors to take a break or whatever, they are like, "Hi, can we play?" And it's pretty good. Psychologically, I would say that the effect of pets is really, really, really positive, for me at least. Like, they are definitely a good influence. I wonder how you guys feel about it. Do you guys have a bunch of pets, and is there a profoundly good or positive psychological impact to you guys? I would guess that there is generally. They're happy I'm home. They are. They're like, "Oh my god, please pet me and feed me." Definitely the feeding. Have them shelter in place at someone else's house. Oof. You're into all of that holistic nonsense. It's not holistic. I like my pets, and they make me happy, and they're company of sorts. I'm not saying I'm gonna bathe them in patchouli and, you know, give them little robes and stuff. Although putting my cat in a tie would be pretty fun. Pretty funny. Pets love the COVID. Yeah, I mean, they don't get it, right? Like, they can't really communicate it to me except through contact with others, right? Because they don't contract it. You have a cat, but she's not living with you currently. Oh, sad panda. I love kitties. I like dogs actually more, to be honest. But I like going on cruises and traveling and doing things, which I won't be doing anytime soon. But when I can, cats are way more convenient for that. I actually have some friends who are in up until last Saturday, we were in my circle of exposure, i.e. I went to dinner and hung out with them and stuff a couple times when all this started, so they were just, you know, people that I interacted with. Well, they have a dog, and their dog freaking loves me, because when I go over there, for what it's worth, pets usually love me. People's dogs and cats are usually all about me. I think it mostly has to do with the fact that I'm all about them, and I give them all the attention. But either way, their dog freaking loves me, so it's kind of cool when I go over there. But I've been avoiding since last weekend. Not because I don't like them, but because, you know, viruses and such. Exposure profile and such. Business cat. I think that's a crime. Wait. You kept an art student in a closet for her summer vacation. Does that count? Oof. Oof. Yeah, if she wanted it, I guess it's not. If it was consenting adults. He said college student. So, oh no, he said an art student. Hopefully a college art student. Of age. Consensual non-consent or whatever. Hey, you know what? I feel like I'm gonna embrace it. You guys keep talking about my BDSM setup. I might as well just be like, yeah. Even though I'm like super vanilla. My friends who are like into that community, I have a couple friends who are into that kind of thing. Like, they love this gantry setup. I know I've talked about it, but they were like instantly like, can I get help putting one of these in my house? They didn't actually say that, but you could tell they were like ogling it, like, yes, ideas. Circle of exposure. That sounds like a 1970s band that hung out waiting for stuff to happen, but it didn't. No shit, dude. It does. Oh my god, yes. Rid Wonk. We love you too. I don't know where that came from, but thank you, man, and I hope that only great things happen to you. Really. Really, truly. You mean you remind the younger ones? No. No, please not. Set them up for a side gig. Circle of Exposure is definitely a 70s funk band. Ooh, a funk band. I don't like funk that much. I guess I don't hate funk. It's just not at all my gig. I actually normally don't like this like jazzy low-key stuff that we play on my channel. Not that I don't like the stuff we play on the channel, I actually do. But I find it very situational. Like, perfect for the type of thing that we're doing here. For background music, great. But I would like never have it on in my ears while I'm doing something else. Like, doesn't help me focus. stuff that helps me focus, for the most part, is something with a beat. With that driving kind of bass beat that just, you know, makes you want to move. Not this. But it sounds really cool for looping switches and hanging out. It's just funny how situational that is. So we should have one extra stem. And if we don't, then I'll guess that it's hiding out with the spring. So the funny thing is I'm doing Everglides or Durox tabs for this build, and yep, we have one stem, and I'm one short because of the that one that I had that didn't have the insert. So they send an exact amount, so I'm literally one short because one was damaged. And even though I ordered a ton of Durox stabs, including ones for this build, ones for other builds, and ones for me to just have, I'm of the clear ones at least, I'm out. So I used one Zeal side stabilizer, or one of the parts, the only part that I was missing. So, I mean, I didn't use it yet, but I set it aside specifically for this. And they're so close and so minuscule a difference, with the exception of price. They are more expensive for sure. Ugh. You know, that's what we get. Who knew? I'd have all the toilet paper I need, but have a shortage on Durox stabs, Everglide stabs, whatever. Womp womp womp. Yes, we know your preference, which is why you tried hard to get you distanced from the 1980s janky arcade music. Oof, dude. Jeez. Wow. I think Talisman is determined to make my channel as spicy as possible. With innuendo, at least. I'm or maybe not even innuendo, maybe just direct words. Yeah, so yeah, and there just isn't a lot to say about it for me. Wow, wow. First world problems, -1 stabilizer. I know, right? I mean, technically, shortage of toilet paper might be a first world problem that can be solved by other first world solutions. I mean, I had one of my coworkers in a chat say, like, if you have a shower, you'll never have an important shortage of toilet paper. And I was like, what, dude? I'm paraphrasing, I don't know exactly what he said, but that was the gist. And I was like, whoa. Which is funny because I was on a cruise ship one time, and you know, cruise ships have comedians that travel around to them pretty regularly. And on a cruise ship, this one comedian one time was, you know, trying to get content out of the crowd, and this woman admitted, very young woman, but admitting to being so drunk one time that she crapped in the shower. And it's crazy because she like literally never lived it down. I saw her a couple other times on the cruise ship, and that's all people would talk to her about. And the comedian even joked about it again, the next night, it was so ridiculous. It was such a ridiculous story. But yeah. I wish I could convey that to my coworker. And again, I guess I could. Like, he did say he's the one who made the comment in the first place. It just didn't seem appropriate in a work setting for me. Nah, you're harmless. I think he is harmless. Besides, you're getting channel points for your meandering banter. That's true. Normally sleep in a bed of toilet paper rolls. Good lord. That would be terrible. I am not a hoarder, but I do have, I feel like you never need to caveat something like that unless you are a hoarder. But I definitely am not, because, you know, no dead cats, no unaccounted for cats, and generally a lack of clutter on the floor. But I'm definitely not worried about running out of toilet paper anytime soon. So there is that. He doesn't even use napkins. There's just toilet paper at the dining room table. Flaunting it. I'm flaunting it. Oh no. Shocks could make up like pretty much whatever story he wanted, and you guys might believe him because he knows me in real life. No paper towel, just everyone get TP. Right? Oh, there's the other spring. Plume Keyboards, thanks for the sub, man. 2 months in a row. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully really well. Found that other spring. Man, I didn't see it in the, Guess what? It's back in the mix. It's back in the mix. Boys and girls. So I will show you how this happens. Microscope cam. See that there's two there? I can only tell at the one end, the other end's like perfectly aligned. Lame. Boom. Oh, you're gonna love 1.2. So this is the fourth 1.2 build I've done. And I actually have an outstanding quote for another one. I don't know if that'll come to fruition, because, you know, like, who knows? Little sad you didn't win the Bauer Vickery, but you're doing well. Good, man. Whoa. Do you mind if I ask what the Vickery price was? For Bauer? Is that a thing you can like share with me? Was it released? Because I didn't look. Oh, you know what I should do? Is I should show off a stem. So this is a fairly thoroughly lubed stem. It's not like outrageous or anything, but for 65 gram weighted. Oh, hate it when that happens. I have to check and make sure there's no. Well, I'm about to put it under a microscope anyway, so. So these are tub lubed. So lube all over, including the legs, whatever. I've had a couple people hit me up wanting me to do not tub lube, to which I normally reply no. Normally, not always. Yeah, that's the plan. Oh, yeah. There will be another group buy, probably. Sorry, you know he asked you something, but it cut out. But it cut out. Quarantine interwebs is cutting in and out. Oh my lord, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not dropping any frames. Sorry to hear it's probably on your end then. Well, so what I was asking is, was there, what was the victory price? The winning victory bid? And how many victory slots were there? I don't know if we know what the winning victory bid was or not. Like, he may not have released it. Tossing romaine and Caesar dressing. Kind of, I guess. I'll show you how I do mine. So I take this tub and I drop all the stems in there and I paint lube on the side, and then I do this. I put this in here and I just like a bunch, and I rotate it and I flip it and I shake the shit out of it. And you don't have to do it for as long as some people say. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, you lost at 1.4 and 1.51. Really? Wow. Whew. You need to say hello to Apiary. You'll be back. Oh, I hope you come back soon and say hey to Apiary for me. Thanks, Talisman. Yeah, it is. It's pretty similar. Basically, tub looping is just much simpler, in my opinion. Much simpler, in my opinion. I prefer it. Not only do I prefer doing it, but the results are so close that I pretty much don't see a reason to be willing to accept lube jobs where people want specific painting, whatever. Plus, here's my biggest issue with people wanting a very specific type of lube thing from me, specifically anyway, is or from anyone that they're buying the service from, is if you're gonna pay someone else to do a lube job, it probably should be because you've either felt their switches and think they're great, or you have other reputable people that have, and they think they're great too, and you trust that person's judgment, and then you kind of want that person to lube however it is that they get those results that they get. I mean, I don't really care how it happens if I'm using the switch. Like, maybe the dude put them all he did was take a mustard, one of those squeezy mustard bottles, and fill it with 205 and just on top of it and smear a rag over it. And if it's consistently good, then I want him to do it the way he knows how to do it. Because if he does that thing all the time, in that manner, he's probably pretty good at it. And if I call him and I ask him, hey, I want you to lube switches for me, but is there any way I could get you to lube it in a completely different way than you do regularly, get great results? It seems like setting yourself up for a little bit of failure, in my opinion. I mean, that person may be able to do that, and maybe they'll even make great switches out of it, but why would you want to risk them doing a technique that's different than ones that they practice regularly, because it's their preference and the preference of the other people that they work for and around? Food for thought. I don't know. Plume, you probably have pretty interesting take on it, right? Because you do builds for others. Definitely curious what your thoughts are. I guess, like, if I offered two different services, right? If I was like, hey, here's a, I offer a service and it's one price for tub lubing and it's a different price for painting, and I do both of them all the time and I have great success with them and people like both, then it'd be like, yeah, then specify. I mean, I've done hand lube jobs on switches before, and it's not rocket science and it's not crazy. It's just the thing I absolutely practice with the most is tub lubing, because it's the way I prefer to do it. And I've definitely gotten my results to the point where they're very consistent. And the funny thing is I do it less scientifically than when I started doing tub lube, and they're just as consistent or better. Because the way I used to do it was I would measure out specific amounts. Now that sounds like a really great plan at first, but then you realize that there's different spring weights, and those different spring weights correspond to a different amount of lube that you want to get the same result or similar result on a different weight. Because it's not only about smoothness, it's also about how it actuates. So basically, you're doing it to feel, and the way that I found best to do that is to, you know, measure out your first dollop of relatively metered amount, and then work up from there to the feel that you want. So that's why you saw there was one switch that was already made when we started this today, and it was because I went through that iteration by doing that. I got the stems all thoroughly mixed in and right, and then I put the stem in, I tested one, and I was like, oh, it needs a little bit more. So I took it out, put just a little bit more lube in there, put it back in, and I got it right. I nailed it that second time, right? I went a little light the first time, knowing that I would prefer to work up there. And basically, it just worked out really well because I did it to feel. Bend down, flip it, and reverse it. Oof. So there's no part of the stem that should not have lube on it. Stabs are a different story, right? So it's not that there's no part that shouldn't have lube on it. And I'll tell you the downside. The biggest downside for me to stem or to tub lubing, and I'll show it to you literally right now. It's really straightforward. The biggest downside is actually this. So if you look, there's lube right there on that stem. Now, it's not gonna affect if you have GMK or Signature Plastics caps or any caps that are not like crazy loose to begin with. It's not gonna negatively affect them. So it's not like a big deal. And you can wipe that off, and I'll show you. It's just a lot of effort. You can wipe that off with a rag, and I do have customers ask for that sometimes. Why, I don't know. Because again, it doesn't matter once the keycaps are on. Like, the keycaps are friction fit, but they're also under pretty significant compression. So I'll show you what that can look like when it's wiped off, right? And this isn't even that great of a job wiping it off, right? So there's still a tiny amount of residue on there, but we've gotten the bulk load of it off. It's just, it doesn't make a difference really in caps at all, unless you have super loose caps to start. And I mean extraordinarily, like they fall off on their own. I do have a set that's like that. Okay. Oh, 90 switches. How's Animal Crossing going? Yeah, I'm curious too, but it's not a game that I ever play. So it's more just like passing, like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing? And are you enjoying it? Would tub lubing be bad for tactiles? These are tactiles. They do reduce tactility a little bit, but they can make it a lot smoother. On the springs, at least, it eliminates all that ping, right? You want to get rid of that ping. That ping is terrible. So I don't have another 65 gram that's bare that doesn't have lube on it, but I do have a 78 gram, which has less ping actually. And it has less ping. That's my address. Whatever, doxed. So 78 has less ping. Whatever. A lot of people know my address in this community already. So I wonder if there's a good way for me to do this. There is a way for me to do this. You're gonna hear like a bunch of sound when I do it this way, but get ready because I'm gonna make it happen for you guys. Okay, now you'll hear all the background sound in the room, but here we go. So this is the Lubed. And here's the unlubed. Right? So that kind of makes a difference. At least as far as I can tell. So I don't know if that made sense. You guys were right up on the mic, so hopefully it helped. Hopefully you could kind of understand. Yeah, so these are 78 grams and these are mine. Keep them separate. Apiary killing it as usual. Nice. I hope she is. Apiary's awesome. What's she building? Talisman? Yeah, I agree, Racing Giraffe. Lubed is definitely the way to go. Like, that sound was significant, right? So the place you bought your 205 grade 0 says this specifically on the product. It is not recommended for use with tactile switches, only linear. So one, where did you buy it? That's important. Did you buy it from SwitchMod or did you buy it from... Oh, she's the Mex on Deck guest. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. You bought it from SwitchMod. Great. So one, always buy from Crail if you're in the US. That's a great place to buy. Crail's great, and he's a great source of that stuff. No affiliation, not sponsored. Never talked to him about being sponsored. Not a thing I'm looking for. But he is good. Yeah, buy from Crailbit. Crailbit's great. Anyway, so 205 grade 0, it would be really easy to over lubricate and mess up the tactility of tactile switches to the point that you'd be very disappointed. So, you know, that's the thing. That's a thing. I hope that's what you wanted me to say again. I don't know what you were talking about, no QB. Otherwise. So yeah, so now we got that done. We got all that lubin out of the way. Can you spell that? Crailbit? No, just switchmod.net. Did I say great shirt yet? Why, thank you, sir. I mean, it's just a polo. Golf clap for polo. There you go, switchmod.net. Okay, we're gonna raise this up. Saving your reputation one comment at a time. Matrix Lab. 8X V1.2 original. OG, yo. It is a sweet box. There are nicer boxes, I think. And this one has rivets, which is weird. I mean, they all have rivets, but they're pop rivets. Weird to apply that with rivets, I guess. So I will say the matrix that we built last, Sunday, had a better PCB. because his PCB went out, which was like this one, and then he had a different PCB, and it supported QMK, and it was awesome, and it had an anti-static thing in it. Jerk chicken, sweet box, yes. Ooh, is this Cerakoted? Actually, it feels more like powder coat. But it's aluminum, right? It could be Cerakote then, I guess. Yeah, Krobit is the guy who runs that site. Correct. You can't save Gingerman. He's dressed as a cow on stream last time with udders. Oof. I need to look. Customer, I think you did. Let me just read it. Let's read it. What that? Let's read it. Good. We are good. Things that make you go moo. For 500, Alex? Take things that make you go moo for 500, Alex? I don't know what those things could possibly be, but whatever. Boom, we're done with our tub. All right. This is a beautiful board. I really like the way this looks, actually. Like, really. All good. I don't know, I was looking up Band-Aid mod situation. I don't recommend doing Band-Aid mods at this point in general to people, but I always wanted to check and make sure. Which is what I did. Moo is a saber. Oof, dude. So you're pretty sure you started this hobby at the best time, am I right? During a pandemic. If they're Superman band-aids, definitely don't use them. You want to use those cloth ones. So lots of fingerprints on that bad boy already. Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. And this is a matrix board, so I already know I'm gonna need a 2.5 millimeter. That's gonna be 3. That means this probably 2.5. Yeah. Yabba dabba do. For sure, buddy. For sure. I love that it has a black. That it has the black accent piece here, and I really like this Cerakote. I think it's Cerakote. It's got a lot of texture for Cerakote. Like, it really feels like powder coat. But if this is aluminum, I guess they do powder coat aluminum. I don't know. It feels like powder coat, but it kind of looks like Cerakote. And it definitely looks like a Cerakote color. It looks like flat dark earth. Is this made to match GMK Sandstorm? Ooh, the weight is loose. The heat is on. I mean, the weight is loose. Whatever. 10 points if you know where that lyric came from. Heat is on. No, I bet Talisman knows. I bet he does. It's on the street. right, so this is not 2.5 millimeter. I think it's 2, maybe? Well, it's whatever this one is. 2. Those were loose.
We get to think of life as an inexhaustible well. Yet everything happens only a certain number of times. And a very small number.
Okay, we're done with that. I love this plate too. And I'm really digging this board. This is maybe the nicest one of these that I'm gonna build. At all. Period. The end.
How many more times will you remember a certain afternoon of your childhood? Some afternoon that's so deeply a part of your being that you can't even conceive of your life without it.
Ginger bovine stream. Oof.
Perhaps 4 or 5.
Utterly unredeemable as much as I am.
How many
Dang.
more times will you watch the full moon rise?
Soundtrack of some 80s film.
Perhaps 20.
Always thought of you as cream of the crop. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that. I know you were talking to TSC, and I agree with you on that part. TSC is awesome. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Better mod than the channel deserves. I really like the orange plate and how it's gonna... Oh, then again, I know whose board this is. So it totally makes sense to me that that's what's going on. Orange. What keycaps are you gonna put on this? So curious. And did you have this custom anodized?
And yet it all seems limitless.
GMK scientific. Is that a thing somebody's gonna do? That would be crazy. Oh, that's right. Derp. I don't know why I'm derping so hard. I forgot. Those are still sitting over there. By the way, the person who packed those did like the craziest freaking job. So here is the Mizu, and you beast mode packed this thing. Let me I want to show you guys how big the box was. There was packing material holding it all in. I'm gonna put the label flap over. So this board held one GMK set, and it was just wrapped like super hard in all sorts of goodness. It also was a lot taller than that. It was this tall. Because of the way it's bent. Very good. Very good. Alright, so I don't dox customer or myself again. This is a FedEx guy. He was having a rough morning. I was not gonna make him feel bad. It was crazy, man. I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Like, going all out, man. On the wrap. Like, they were just snug. Snug as a bug in a rug. Forgot all about that. So anyway, boom. We got this out. Now we're gonna put this out of the way so it does not get damaged. Okay. We don't really need this quite yet either. But we do need to open this thing. And instead of opening this shit with an X-Acto knife, I do what I did last time. And everybody needs to stick around for this build because this thing is freaking gorgeous. Without a doubt. Like, this board, I really like this, the the way it's colored. And I normally don't like painting things flat dark earth that otherwise you would generally not paint flat dark earth. Like, it makes sense for guns, but keyboards and stuff, I generally would not have thought it would be good, but it looks fantastic. I see on grain. Yeah, let's get on grain. Anybody else getting in on that? Between us, they sell like 10. Yeah, probably not wrong. Probably not wrong. Okay. And I love how they like individually packaged like literally all of these things. So I can't remember, but I think it's yellow, black, red, like this. I mean, I can go watch my VOD, I guess, and figure it out. Pretty sure that's how it is. Anyway, we'll break these little snap-offs off. Boop, like you do. Set that off to the side. That little stickery doodad in your right there. Like I said, man, I love that they. It's kind of crazy because, in general, not a big fan of a lot of the Chinese boards that come out, like percent stuff and this stuff. I'm not saying they're bad. I just like a lot of the like Korean customs more. But like the packaging on this board is fantastic. It's like second to Rama packaging. Sorry, I'm just kind of putting all the trash in on the side. Is that Geek Hack Index the grain buy? It is. So the thing I want to call attention to here is if you scroll down to the renders on Iron 180. That's what I want. I want Iron 180. One song, Korean customs, like Ducks and TX. Yes, like Ducks and TX. TX especially. Because TX does a great job. Like a great job. And for a great price. More importantly. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is, before we ever touch a soldering iron to this board, we're gonna test it out. As per usual. Oh, and I have it's an okay PCB. I think it's all right. Pull up a little switch hittery action. I don't think it's a bad PCB. I just the QMK version of this PCB, the one that's white, that's a great PCB. It seemed really nice. I do like that it's easy to see the traces on this one though. That's kind of really nice. Like aesthetically, it's very pleasing. Do we want to go with stepped caps or not stepped caps? I always just go with stepped caps unless customer says don't. One of these won't work because it's a function layer switch. Just fine. Okay, perfect. Done. Yeah, one song I will say ducks in TX. Plenty of duck boards. TX boards are really great. I think they're fantastic. I think the PCBs are not good, but you know, whatevs. If it uses the Liku L3, at least it's not good, because that is garbage. Back Langolandia is a small island between kitchen. I see what you did there, buddy. I see what you did there, friend. Oh, I don't want to watch my own live video. I want to watch the video from the other day. Sorry, I'm watching my own video to make sure I understand how the thing is wired up. Okay, so the connector goes that way. And it goes yellow, black, red. It's yellow, black, I believe. And it's really hard to find. Yep, yellow. Black, red. Okay. Yellow, black, red when it's on the bottom. Man, that took me a minute to find. Sorry about that. Stepped caps, okay. You're the Joe Biden of key builders. Can't remember a damn thing. I'm definitely too young to remember the 70s. Yep, Yellow, Black, Red. Hey man, I just don't want to get it wrong. I mean, you heard me say, I think it's Yellow, Black, Red, right? And then I'm gonna watch the video and check. Mostly because fuck being wrong about that. Okay. So we tested this guy. Oh, I guess we didn't test the E key somehow. Let's change that. For the minus key. Okay, better. Cool. So now we got that part done. We're gonna get our solder stuff up here. Then we'll lube the stabs after we solder the indicators and stuff here. Check out that that works. Bustin' my hump. I know, man. I know. But if I didn't give you grief back, it wouldn't be as fun for me. Alright. So, what we need is this guy to be right here. It's like myth busting, but not. Yar, something like that. There we go. So violent. Okay, perfect. Now we'll get this doodadarino. Yellow, black, red. I feel like that's the title to a rap album I've never heard or only vaguely heard of before. I know there's a song, Black and Yellow, but now we have red also, so. Oh, well. So does anybody follow Dixie on Instagram? And did you see his like post about his new place? Because that shit is Impressive, man. In my opinion. Okay. Man, all those Mario sounds. Wow. Okay. Ooh, and she works. You have to check that out. Yeah, man, they look pretty cool. So I'm fixing the house, yeah. Yeah, so that's like a new place. I know, I jokingly said on the, when I commented, I was like, you gotta keep the woodland mural, or woodland thing, just as a joke. He did not. He did not keep it. Which is kind of to be expected. But I was certainly hoping he would. Because would that not be funny as shit? I do believe it would. Yeah, it did look cool. I'm like, he totally opened that like closet area in his office, and I like expected it to be a tiny closet, and it's like basically a hidden fucking room. And it's like nearly as big as the rest of the office. Not quite. It didn't look like, but close. Close enough. Get this part done first, just because we'll get this part out of the way. So it doesn't pose a problem to us when we go to finish. Alright, should work just like before, and it does. Okay, we're done with it for now. Unplug it, pull it off the board. Alright, now we'll lube our stabs up real well. I'm not going to do it under a microscope this time, like I normally do. Mostly just to save on some time, because we're already going long on this one, because we lubed some switches and stuff. Yeah, it does look cool, and with its diffuser in place, like, you basically can't tell. Like, that's how good it is on this board. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10. One of those is Zeal. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Perfect. That's the correct number. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 2U wires and 7 and 6.25, although we only need 7, so it's perfect. No microscope. Okay, I can show you the microscope if you want. I just won't do them all under microscope. How about that? We get microvision, Racing Giraffe. We get microvision in here just because you want it. Only takes a minute. Takes but a minute. Oh, let me do this first. I'll do some microvision just for you and TSC. As I know, it's a thing you guys love. Feels so special. You guys are. You are. All my viewers are special. All right. Microvision. There it went. Boop, boop. Okay. You guys ready for this? We get a dollop of lube and our stabilizer, and we do this with it. Okay. So we do one of those. Then we do this doodad. Right, we go in from this angle. Boop, boop. Get all that lube smeared around in there. Try not to get it on the bottom, although it doesn't make a big difference. Alright, so now that hole has a bunch of lube in it. Then what we do is we take that, right? And then we take this guy. In this orientation, so where the two holes go, and we insert it into here. Boop. Right, and that kind of just hangs out in there. And then, so the two holes were in the front, right? Then what we do is take this 7U stab wire, and I'm going to do this whole thing, coat this whole thing. I'll show you what that looks like after I'm done coating it with a brush. This is going to be faster out here. Let's give you guys all kind of an idea of how this works, right? So we do it like that. It's all sorts of coated, right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this stabilizer, we're gonna insert the wire into the front of the opening and then into the bottom hole. Right? And then we're gonna snap it in there. Right, And now it works exactly the way you want it to. Okay, perfect. Now you guys understand how that goes. Microvision is turning off. Sorry, I really wanted you guys to understand, but I also... Now I'm gonna lube them all up outside of the microscope because, well, it's considerably faster doing it this way. Considerably. Okay. So I'm gonna set these all off the side. So these are the undone ones, right? Unlubed. Yeah. Bye-bye Microvision. Microvision's pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love microscope. I got it for you guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really like having it just for me to look at cool stuff. But I totally wanted it so that I could show stuff like that up close. And I think it's been super worth it. I think I absolutely get my money's worth out of it. Just for stream content, not to mention the content that it'll help make for produced like YouTube type channel content. And it'll help more for that, actually. Because then we'll have all sorts of stuff to show off. Oh. Oh no. Get off there. Keep threatening you guys with YouTube content. One day I'll deliver, and you'll all be like, "Oh, it happened." Okay, I have a lot more time in this office to do stuff, so like, I mean, I'm working in here in the day, but during my breaks and stuff, like, now I have the ability to kind of harness those breaks for other things, personally productive things. And now he's losing ability to grip objects. The end is near. Yeah. Uh-oh. I'm just used to holding these with reverse locking tweezers under a microscope all the time. My work, literally under a microscope. Not today, though, guys. Not today. It's okay. I'm actually preparing for a little bit of other work to be under a microscope. SMD challenge kit. Boys and grills. So now, as we lube each one of these, we'll just insert it into one of the stabs the correct way. Or into the stab guides. So it's funny because I don't think it was Racing Giraffe who was asking earlier about, is it no KB maybe? About lubing, and it basically lubing switches, tub lubing switches basically being like making a Caesar. And while the answer was yes, this process varies pretty greatly from that, right? In this process, you don't mind so much if the hole right here that you're putting this stuff in gets mostly flooded. You don't want it to be like hydraulically locked flooded completely, so that when you push the wire in, it pushes a bunch of grease out the back and that gets more inside the housing. But the part that's most important here is how much is in this housing. Because if you have a bunch in there that you don't need, that will add sluggishness. If you have a little extra in here, in this hole right here, very little negative effect. Very, very little negative effects will be felt. Maybe none. You'd have to have a lot for there to be any perceived negative effect there. Similarly, the amount on the outside of the wire doesn't have a huge impact either. Again, unless it's enough to like lock the inside of this hydraulically and then cause a bunch to spew out the back and then pour into the housing. That would again be bad. For the same reasons though. No, that's just the carpal tunnel setting. Oh, he's got the corona. Oof. Who's got the corona? I think he's got cowbell. He'll be fine. Cure for everything bad in the world is more cowbell. I'm convinced. I was actually playing League of Legends the other day, and one of my buddies has Moo Cow Alistar, and I didn't even realize that the like his taunt emote or whatever is for him to reach up, because he looks like a cow, to pull out a cowbell and start going dink 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 dink. It's pretty funny. Sure, some of you guys are like, F your video games, kid. But you know, whatever. If you're into mechanical keyboards, it's very possible that you played a video game or two in your life. Dare I say, probable? If you're video games, kid. Yeah, there you go. Video games are great. I agree. Especially in today's world of nonsensical nonsensory. So I do have a whiteboard right behind where my work computer is now. I need to start being a little bit better about setting like task lists for the day and stuff like that. So the biggest mistake people make when they do this part is they snap one of them in one way and the other one in backward. So just make sure as you're rotating them around, you've got your stab wires in the right orientation. That's the thing that'll throw you off real hard. Right, and doing these 2U wires is more difficult than the larger one because the grip, the amount of area that you have to grip it is way less. One trick you can use is to use these reverse lock tweezers, which I don't do very often. I forget about them. But since they're right here, because you want to get some on this elbow of the wire and up both sides. As you really want. Yep, that didn't work at all. Because you really want anywhere that there's plastic touching metal, metal touching metal, or plastic touching plastic, to have a little layer of lube there to damp the vibration when they hit each other. That's actually the primary reason we do this. It's not for smoothness, though it is for that also. It's actually to reduce the vibration and the sound associated with that vibration. I'm not going to use these cross locks. I don't like it that much. It's a bad way to do it. It's a bad way to do it, kids. His whiteboard is just toilet paper. Oof, dude. Folded into origami shapes to look like a keyboard. Well, I mean, this is a keyboard stream. Is a keyboard stream after all. GMKTP. Oh, what? GMKTP. Alright, Shocks. That's what I expect, man. At least a novelty set. Where it's just like some, for like white on black or something common, right? Or nines in 9 colors, or black and... I would do black and white on black because it's so easy. An extension kit that all it has is like a roll of toilet paper, and a roll of toilet paper on one, a little poop on the other one, and then on your escape, I want like the molecular like image of COVID-19, or of SARS-CoV-2, sorry, the thing that causes COVID-19. Blah. What about a sink? Oh yeah, a bidet and a sink. You could do other ones. Like your caps lock and your shift keys and stuff like that to be. Yeah, you should do that. You should do that. Are any of you guys bidet users? Or have you made the switch? And how do you like them? I don't need details, just I do like them or I don't like them or whatever will suffice. You know, or whatever. You can kind of do whatever you want, I guess. No, but it seems like a good idea. It does kind of. It does. Okay. So those are lubed. And we're burning through these now. That was really fast for stabilizer lubing. Microscope really does slow it down, I think. Anyway. Here we go. I will say I love the fixed layout on this PCB. And I also remember that this PCB had very tight switch leg tolerances. Come on. Hands are a little slick. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. So these are ever so slightly smaller ones than we normally used. Four, 6, 8, 10. Okay. There we go. So now's a good time to mention, if you guys aren't all followers or subs, you should consider hitting that button up there, follow and or sub. And then you should consider going over to my my other social media, other avenues where you can find me, like YouTube or Instagram, and doing the same there. Thank you so much, TSC. Appreciate that. Bottle of bleach and some hand sanitizer would be great novelties for the set that we just talked about. Alright, so who's making it? Is it you, Shocks? Coronavirus extension set. Coronavirus white on black extension kit from GMK. Appreciate that. Oh, Onyasha, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for that subscription. I appreciate that. 4 months. Wubba lubba dub dub. Oof. Nice to see that you're watching, man. Hopefully everything's going well for you. Thanks for shooting me over that Prime sub. I do appreciate it. Dad TSC, hello. What's going on, Frisco Melt? Shock should do it. I agreed. Giraffe. Racing Giraffe. And every time I see your name now, I think of this adventure I had in Palm Springs or in January where I fed giraffes. Maybe it's a low bar, but I mean, it was pretty fun. And they seem like pretty awesome creatures. But after all this, somebody will make some sort of Corona themed set. Yeah, but the virus, not the beer, because the beer is bad. Sorry. I think the beer is bad. The one on my Instagram, that looked pretty cool. Yeah, man, that one. That was super cool. It was super friendly. Actually, I think that was like a 3-image Instagram post. So if you scroll over, there's a picture of me actually feeding it. Or of my hand, at least. Feeding it the noms. The carrot. Which they don't usually let people feed them. The trainers use carrots. They let people feed them lettuce. But one of the trainers had dropped some carrots on the ground out of their treat bag, and I grabbed one. I was like, can I feed him the carrot that's sitting on the ground? They're like, totally. They love carrots. Feed them the carrots. Okay. Feels good. Feels good. Feels good. Feels good. Okay. So now it's looking pretty good. Now it's time for this goodness right here. Get our anchors in. Oh yeah, this board, I remember. Oof. Really is, they really are tight. I think the one that was super bad was when we did like pandas like this. But these are tight too. Yeah, so they let the trainers at the place that I was at, the Palm Springs zoo or whatever, They let you feed the giraffes lettuce because it's calorically not very dense. So their giraffes don't get fat, I guess. But they feed them as treats carrots because they really like carrots, I guess. And so basically they want them to listen to them, so they feed them carrots. Is what it is, I suppose. Kind of bummed I can't just go to restaurants right now. I mean, I understand why I can't, and I'm not going to, but kind of, not that there are any open, but I am bummed that I can't. I did hear that the California, like LA, sorry, specifically LA City, is talking about finding places that stay open against the public health order. Because there's no like law to prevent them, or not finding, sorry, punishing them by turning off their power and water. Which is kind of bananas, if you think about it. I mean, it's wild. I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen, I'm just saying, whoa. Yeah, these bottom row ones have a tendency on this PCB to not want to seat down very well. Using government to punish people. Most Republican. Yeah, so, I mean, generally I would agree with you, but I kind of understand in this instance why they would want to basically not allow those businesses to stay open. And since they don't have a legal means, as of right now, to actually prohibit anyone from staying open, like a legal mechanism for it, basically, because the city of LA controls the power, like they sell power to people, I guess they could just, like, terms of service, turn them off or whatever, however they're gonna do that. I don't know if it's a for sure thing or not, but also don't know how many places are actually staying open, even though there's, like, pandemic on. Yeah, this requires, like, a ton of anchor switches because of, and seating them all well. Yeah, I think that part's the most important part to TSC. Preventing, I mean, literally the reason we have government is, like, to prevent us from hurting each other, right? Not us from us, but us from each other. Like, that's what laws are for. And I will argue that that's the case till I'm blue in the face. I don't like laws that try to prevent me from hurting myself. Like, I should be able to live my life however I want. Now, I may hurt myself doing so, but choices, right? Government is there to secure your freedoms. Sure. But we create laws so that we agree to all live by a set of rules together. Those laws should absolutely be about. I mean, the only laws I want to exist are ones that are like, hey, don't hurt me and I won't hurt you. You're not wrong about the freedom thing, though, either. I think we enjoy a fairly large amount of freedom comparatively in the US. That doesn't mean I don't want it to always be the primary concern, maintaining it, but I mean, that's why there isn't like a quarantine order out right now that's like, hey, we'll arrest you for being outside. Although that exists in some places currently, like Italy. But I think with that freedom, if you're exercising it in a way that's harmful to everybody else, well, we live in society, so in your specific case, right, if it's you that's doing it, we society may have a vested interest in you stopping. Not a consensus thing. Rights are from our creator, guaranteed by the Constitution and actually limiting government. Yar. I don't know if I agree with the creator part personally, but I do think that they are natural rights. They are rights that all humans have. Most of those ones. There's no reason to be sorry. I think they are unalienable. A bunch of them are, at least. Including the one that, including basically all those first 10 amendments. Pretty much all of them. I think we're generally in agreement. Talisman. Tig ol Bit-Oi. Or Bit-O1. What up, man? How you doing? I'm just gonna populate all of these before even soldering down, because this board is such a pain in the ass. Customer, you did not say before whether we were doing stepped or not, so pretty soon I'm just gonna make the decision for us, and I have to change it after the fact if that's what you want. And this is the cornerstone of our system versus other democracies and republics. It's distinct, ostensibly anyway. Yeah, so actually I'll go even further, Talisman, and I'll say that I think people in those other places have those same natural rights. They just may be being infringed by their government. Right? The whole concept is that a natural right, or a right that all people and things enjoy, all people enjoy, not enjoy, all people have unalienably, is that all sorts of people can step on those. That doesn't change that it's a right. That's guaranteed to you if you're willing to stand up. In the US, I mean, that's happened a lot, right? Right? It started with, well, pretty much freedom of speech, even though freedom of speech didn't actually become a legally protected right here until the First Amendment was passed. But that's part of what our government was founded on. Was that you get to participate in the way you're governed. Let's go not stepped. Yeah, no problem, man. I can do that. Oh, God. Switches are so tight. Yes, the federal constitution is intentionally limited in scope to prevent infringement. Hence, people can challenge the state and local government consensus on the basis of infringement of constitutionally secured rights. Totally. It's kind of interesting. I've been watching more Legal Eagle over the last, I don't know if any of you guys watch that guy. Over the last, I don't know, probably a couple months than I ever watched that kind of thing before. It's kind of interesting when he does constitutional analysis, right? And you're like, oh shit. Like the right to quarantine, at least legally, for the government to quarantine us and infringe on our rights to travel about exists legally. Like, I'm gonna argue that it's a natural right and that they shouldn't be allowed to, and I guess we could try and change the law part if we wanted to, or just outright break it. But I think that that exists like from the Constitution pre any amendments. It's in like one of the articles of the Constitution. He did an analysis of it. It was kind of interesting. It has been litigated. You're totally right. What stab brand am I using? So they're all Everglide stabs, with the exception of literally one of the stabilizer housings, which is Zeal. Because I was one short. Good way to compare. Ooh, start setting scopus rulings if you want. Generally cannot restrict people's. Generally you can't. Yeah, I agree with that. Generally you cannot in the US. There are absolutely cases where you can, but generally the government cannot. And national emergencies are actually one of them. Like, quarantine orders have been issued and enforced and defended by the government before. Like, where there was a real threat. Generally, they're not like the entire population, though. In the US, at least. They're very commonly like, oh, this person, or this group of people cannot move. Awesome. Thanks, TSC. I have to check that VOD out. Which VOD? Ooh, what did I miss? Oh, yeah. I love... Yeah, we're not talking about... It is civics, but we are... Legal Eagle is actually fucking amazing. Racing Giraffe, I agree. I like watching Legal Eagle. It's funny, like I don't always agree with his the opinions that he states, like, or that are I think are clearly his opinion. Sometimes. But I really like his legal analysis, at least. He obviously tries to chase it down. Looks like you got your night mapped out. What kind of board are you using? Ooh. Almost fair. Favorite build that you've seen here? Oh yeah. I loved building that board. HBCP was a great board to build. And when I do get my polycarb HBCP, I'll definitely be building that on stream. I think the first time I build it, I'll build it with White Alps, probably. I mean, it's not 100%. I got like a ton of extras, so I have like all sorts of ways that I could build it. There's a broad misunderstanding that rights are a matter of consensus of the governed. Sure. They're not, but law is in most democracies. And it might not be a consensus of the governed. In the case of the US, we're a republic, not actually a democracy. So it's not a consensus of you and me. It's a consensus of who you and me represent or are represented by, generally speaking. No. Talisman. I found the one spring. It was doubled up on one of the switches. And it was sorted out. I pulled it out and we built that last switch. So we definitely have all accounted for at this point. Man, we didn't even anchor. These things are just so tight as they sit. And the reason I did that is actually so that I could correct these little issues. The rows are so tight here. I want to be able to line these up. It seems definitely that the bottom row is the worst. All of the rest of these actually look good. Okay. It's actually, they're so tight that, and and tight in the plate that they warp the board just a little bit. Not much. I mean, they just bend it, and it'll bend back down into place when it's all screwed in, but doubling up is a line out of Office Space. Do you remember which scene and in which context? I don't, but did you catch my reference earlier when I said double up? No? No? Nobody? Nobody? Super looking forward to it, at least having arrows. Yeah, I like full size. You know what was really good though, if you like full size, is Austin. It's not exactly full size, but also HBCP was really good. I can't remember, Foremost Bear, was your tofu the first one that I built? I cannot remember. Definitely wasn't the first tofu of any kind, but the first tofu acrylic. I mean, I built a few, so. Yeah, it was? Okay. I really liked it. And I built like, I don't know, 3 or 4 probably since then. One was even pretty recently. Like fairly recently. Yeah. I liked the board. I really did. Without a doubt. That was quite a while back, man. We were taking it way back. At least in terms of my stream. You know what I should do before we go all crazy is I should test these stabilized caps. Yeah, I like the tofu acrylic. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think it's as good as plenty of other boards. But I think for the price, it's pretty close to the best you can get. And the new ones, by the way, the new ones are kind of interesting. They have like a USB-C cutout for the, well, for the USB-C. like the actual, it's USB specific, I think is what I mean to say. Like it's not it would not support a, at least if you order it with a USB-C board, at least it will do that. It won't support a mini USB DZ60. Okay, there we go. Jack Static, what's up, man? How you doing? How are you? Everybody, I don't know if you guys are aware, or if you watch the stream often enough to know, but Jax is currently running Rukia on Mint Autumn. Feel free to post that link, Jax, as per the usual. I will say these new Rukias, at least the premium version, comes with the option of getting a wrist rest, which is something that I really like. I think that's awesome. I was looking at the actual GB stuff the other day and I was like, man, want. And that stainless bottom, ooh. The CF top, man, I bet that's nice. And if you guys have never met Jax before, Jax is a super cool dude. I like Jax. He's got some cool ideas. He's doing cool things in keyboards. You should definitely go check his buy out. If you're looking for an Alice layout board, I would say that is the one to go for. I have mine, and I love it. And I'll show it off. Funny story. Mine is wearing my Mizu set. So beautiful. Steel is insanely expensive, and now I just fingerprinted the shit out of this thing. So it looks to me, by the way, Jax, that I'm trying to see. Oh, there's a camera and part of the overhead gantry. More of the overhead gantry. More overhead gantry. And another camera. So Jax, it looked like to me that the bottom on the new Rukia round 2 is matted. Is that correct? Is it coated with anything, or is it simply raw? Sandblasted weight with no PVD. Okay. So raw. Cool, man. Good to know. Yeah, as cool as that PVD is, man, it is impossible to keep clean for very long. Collects fingerprints like crazy. It's okay though. I'm not usually looking at the bottom of the board, so we're touching it for that matter. Why did I skip this pad? Because I'm silly. The carbon fiber top is complicated. No joke, man. You like all keyboards, but you admire the chair. The chair is a consequence of. What's up, Sir Gawain? How you doing, man? Yeah, the chair is a consequence of actually my work bought a bunch of these chairs a while back, like quite a long time ago, actually, at this point. And when they upgraded to like these nice Herman Miller chairs, the ergonomics were so good that I was like, shit, I gotta get one of these. And then I looked up the prices, and like the way that they're kitted out at my work, they were like $800 or $900. And so I found someone. Well, I found like some place that was going out of business, and they had like 15 of them or something like that. And one of them that they had was damaged. A part was damaged. There's like a big story with this chair. A part was damaged, and I was like, cool, I'll buy that and I'll fix it. So it turns out that Herman Miller controls the parts on these chairs. So like you have to have information about the chair. So I had to like reach back out to the guy. Luckily it wasn't a hot chair, like stolen outright or something crazy. The guy was able to provide the information, and then I bought a replacement part, and voila, for somewhere in the $300 range fixed, plus my labor, I had an awesome chair. Anyway, the reason I decided it is because when my work bought these chairs, I went from like, even in my 20s, yes, that's how long ago they had them, being uncomfortable at work, like when I would be done being at work, to like literally being completely comfortable after sitting in a chair for 8 to 10 hours. So yeah, new one. That chair is the opposite of BDSM. It is all about comfort, freedom, and comfort. No joke. Part of the BDSM setup there. Yeah, so Gawain, yeah, everybody jokes about the things that I was just showing in the reflection of that keyboard. Like the overhead gantry thing for lights and cameras. Don't worry. It's a stream inside joke, I guess. Yeah. But it is. And in 75 years, he was able to sit down on it. Oh, talisman. Nah, it didn't take that long. It sat in my closet with a busted part for probably like 4 months, maybe. Actually kept the busted, so the part was actually the bottom of the seat. It was like where I'm sitting. I don't know, whatever. I love the chair. Mine doesn't have all the cool options that the ones that I use at work do, but they're options that I don't really care about very much. Has to be an incentive to participate in the other stuff. I understand. Oh, sure. The kind and gentle strokes of a feather. Ooh. Oh, you picked up a kitted one up? Really? Wow. So pricey though. Or did you buy yours secondhand also? The Herman Miller Mira. That's what this chair is called. Hey man, having a comfortable chair, it's like having a comfortable bed, right? Like, it's worth the investment. I mean, mine has the options. It has a couple options. It has the ones that I care about. Like, specifically, it has this and this. That's all I care about. $380. Yeah, that sounds about fair. That's actually a decent price. Totally a fair price. I don't know. I've had mine for... So, anybody who doesn't know, obviously I know Sir Gawain. I've had mine since probably we worked together. Actually, probably since when we worked like directly together for the same organization. The first one. First time we ever worked together. Shocks, right? I need to get a good drafting. You never like them, not great for taller people. I mean, I have a really tall torso, Shocks, so seems to be good for me. They do make a headrest for this chair. That's one of the options that wasn't around at our previous workplace. Actually, some people did have them, but they do make a headrest for this that extends out the top. If that's what it was about. And in the Herman Miller line for tall people, there are actually a couple of really good chairs, but they're usually pretty pricey. Although I think the Aeron is supposed to be better for tall people too, and that's not more expensive than these. Oh, it's the legs not deep enough. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I have short legs, so I would not know. Oh, God. These switches on this freaking PCB are crazy, crazy tight. Yeah, so I bent one of the legs over. Can be fixed. Yeah, that makes sense though. I don't know, the seat is plenty deep enough for me. Plenty deep enough for me. But again, short legs. So maybe that's why I like it. Alrighty. Okay, let's plug it in, we'll check it out, make sure that it works. Okay, so we expect these two to work. Not necessarily be right, okay. Perfect, everything works. Everything was hooked up anyway. find it entertaining that people in their 30s, 35th or 50s spend a great deal of time trying to optimize their lives, only to have the whole thing slowly collapse in oblivion in the succeeding decades. Captures this best. Yeah, maybe. Wow. That got dark, Talisman. That got dark. Okay, so here we are. We will screw this thing back together with its... Put the diffuser in first. I guess we'll peel the plastic off the diffuser because, you know, why not? This looks like ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. I wonder if Jax is still in here. That reminds me. Reminds me of a board that I'm looking forward to one day. You did, man. You did. I'm pretty sure this insert right here for the matrix is ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. It feels like it, and it looks like it too. Actually, I take it back. It might not be. It's pretty rigid. The top definitely felt like it. Yeah, it might be Delrin. It's pretty. Whatever the case. Alright, so get our daughter board on there. So this is a weird one, guys. Anybody who's never made one of these or never seen one of these. The PCB or the daughter board cable goes through the PCB, loops around the side, and there's this little notch right here for this cable to tuck in and clear the other case. So we do that. We set it like this. Okay. Tell you what we're gonna do. There we go. Pain in the ass. Because there's nothing to actually hold this board down, the daughter board. Like, it's threaded there, there's just, it doesn't do the thing it's supposed to do. Bizarrely enough. Okay, hold this up at an angle. This thing's screwed back in. See you, Jax. Take it easy, man. I appreciate it, and I will try. Racing Giraffe. Talisman to Racing Giraffe. You can't even imagine the level of gratitude usually going right when you come to grips with the reality that the universe not only doesn't care, it actually has contempt for you. Oof. Like you personally, or like you as a human, or like, what do you mean by that? Let's unpack that. I'm curious. Yeah, Ray of Sunshine, this one. Yeah, so like I said before, I think at some point the Wednesday night thing will go away because it's so overcrowded with keyboard streamers now. And the Sunday morning time will stay. Partially because I like interacting with the Euro crowd, but also because a lot of the American crowd makes it out. Viewership is way higher in our hobby. But I don't think the Wednesday will necessarily go away altogether. It just may shift focus to like more deeper electronics than always keybs. But it'll always be things that are cool or related or whatever. Personally, collected all of those. Oof. Oof. Liquid Sky Designs. You like the Wednesday night schedule? All right. I mean, I'm not going to give it up. Give it up. Not anytime immediately or anything like that. Just that particular market is pretty flooded with options on any given night, right? Fight the other streamers. Get them off my time slot. Yeah? I mean, like, we're gonna have a fight club, streamer fight club, keyboard streamer fight club specifically. Man, this is gonna be a beautiful board, actually. Dang, Foremost Bear. I like this, man. I guess let's do this one more time. Make sure the diffuser and stuff work. I love the way that looks. It's one of the biggest draws to this board for me. Problem is, if you move, the universe will align against you, and they'll move too. Sure. That is a possibility. That is a distinct possibility. I'm not saying I'm going to avoid them. I'm just saying, like, why do it on the night where it's probably the hardest if I could change it. Going all sorts of out of order. I'm also not tightening it down. Okay. Before we do that, oh no, it has bump-ons on it already. Weird. You have extra ones. Ooh. Of course, by that logic, you'll watch other nights. Sure. Hear that there's other content on this night, but you seem to be up later, and your stream has a distinct feel that I like. Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. I really, really do. I really, really do. Just bring a knife to the cube fight and you'll be fine. I mean, I say always bring a knife to whatever fight, and then always bring a gun to a knife fight just in case it escalates. Can't go wrong, right? Yeah, there is no end game until you yourself are dead. Wow. Okay, Talisman. That is dark. That one was pretty dark, man. What am I doing here? There we go. Don't need that. Do need that. Don't need that. Do need that. Roll, right? Roll. Oh, no. Yep. Oh, no. One by one now, slowly becoming talismans, right? It's hard when you don't have any of the keys on there. You're like, which one goes where? Derp? I know for a keyboard streamer, that's the thing you don't want to hear him say, right? Like, which one goes where? When they're putting your keycaps on. Hey, Toxic Monkey, thanks for that follow. And anybody who isn't already following or subbing, you should you should think about going out there and giving it a shot. Fairly straightforward, I hope. And even if you don't, I hope that you come back and you enjoy all the content as much as you want to. Iron Lion 9. Thanks for that follow, man. I appreciate that. I really, really do. Really, really do. I think that's the right delete. So I'm not 100% sure. That's the caps lock one. Nope. Guess you're all. Well, why do you say that we will all become talisman in the end? Yeah, this actually looks stunningly good on this board. I don't know. I'm liking it a lot. Oh, or Tyler Durden. I now see where we go now. Maybe he's just rubbing off on you too much. Ah, Talisman, good guy. Good guy. Nope. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, weird one off. I was like, that's not right. There we go. All right. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Maybe. Maybe you have to get a little closer to the end and not seem so cynical. Nah. I'm not hating on cynicism. I mean, the world has a lot of bad stuff going for it, or at least people do. It has a lot of good stuff too. I mean, it has all these wonderful keyboards, if nothing else, right? If nothing else. And I like those. Okay. That is a beautiful board. Man, I really like the way that the red, orange, and the plate shines through too. I'm actually kind of stunned that it looks this good with this colorway on it. Yeah, me too, Foremost Bear. Me too. Missing the blue colored one of those, so I don't want to use that. I'll leave it like it is. Yeah, this is crazy beautiful. On topic Q for me, you soldered in a Mil-Max socket and had to pull it out. Now a new socket won't fit into the PCB in the same location. You've tried a solder sucker. Yeah, so sometimes solder suckers don't remove basically everything that's in there. What you can do is take a piece of, and this is still even now a possibility, not a guarantee, but you can take a piece of solder wick, a clean piece of solder wick, a small one like this. This is 2.5 millimeter, right? And you can wind that up, stick it in that hole, and then heat the solder. I would even maybe heat the tip of this thing up a bunch, stick it in there, heat it up, and try and flow all the solder around there. What you may try and do is flow just a tiny little bit of solder onto that pad with nothing else there before you do that. Then let it cool down, then use the solder wick to try and remove some that way, because the wicking action will actually help you out quite a lot. God, this looks amazingly good. I'm like a huge fan of this colorway on this board. I just want to let you know, Foremost Bear. Previously, I would always ship out like literally the same night. I'm not going to pack this up and ship it out tonight. I will pack it up and I will ship it out probably tomorrow night. For two reasons. One, I actually want to type on it a little bit to make sure that everything is functional, not just in the typing test we're about to do, but like I actually want to like use it for a very brief period of time. Make sure that it works. And then I want to also I want to take good pictures of it and do a sound test. But it'll be tomorrow, probably tomorrow evening. I'll send out an invoice and get that whole thing done. For anybody that's never bought a service from me, a build service from me before, basically there's like the next day turns around for shipping. I've changed that a little bit to be like the day after that, just so that I can use it long enough to know that it's good. I didn't have any major problems, but somebody actually questioned me on it, and I was like, oh, that actually probably makes sense. I'll do it that way. That worked. Added a bit of solder, then used the wick. Thanks so much. Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate it, Liquid Sky Design. I really do. I'm here to help, man. I don't claim to be an expert at all things electronics, but I will say that I'm not bad with a soldering iron. My skill is there. Shit, I've even done it professionally before. A long time ago in another life, and now again. Anyway, what we're gonna do is we're going to switch to this view for one, and we're gonna recenter, and then I think we're gonna get a typing test going on. Can I change the pattern of the LED? You can change the pattern of the LED. I'm not sure I remember what it is. I mean, I can stop it that way. But, so on the QMK board, you hold here, and then you get... I don't remember... I don't remember what the function layer on this board is. You have to look it up. Anyway, yeah. So let's do this first. This view does not do justice by the red plate because there's not enough lighting coming from this direction. It's all coming from above. But there is a beautiful redness that shines through there that you can see on this view. It's FN tab. Is it FN tab? Yeah. But Deli, you have the... Oh, there it is. It just rotates through different colors. I'll do the over shoulder view, and you can see. All right, I'm gonna leave it on that. Anyway, hey man, I would have figured it out, but Deli is the man. And should be getting his any time now. I don't know if you've looked at tracking. I have not. And Cure, yeah. Matrix compatible QMK. Yeah, and that is freaking delicious, by the way, that QMK one. That alleviates one of my only gripes about the board, which is that it doesn't run QMK. Friday, nice. Yeah, so it's that, and that's my number one gripe. The number two gripe is actually that they don't use they use Phillips head screws to hold the plate to the top, and then my only other gripe is actually this sound, and I'm gonna I'll let you guys hear it before we go crazy. I like this music. It's good. Anyway, here, we'll do this, right? So you guys can kind of hear. So the spacebar is fairly loud on these boards. And it's all of them, not just the QMK compatible or not QMK compatible PCB or anything like that. It's all of them. And so are the arrows. But that's okay, because the board is delicious otherwise. All right, so now the part you guys have all been waiting for. A part you've all been waiting for. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this sound test right here. All right. So, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? So, on delis, I got what 75 words per minute or something, which is pretty fast for me. I think I will not be as fast here, but whatever. Oh, redo. All caps. Oh, and then somebody trying to Solji Osu. Thank you so much for that follow. I really appreciate that. Why did my Firefox not pop up? That popped up. Okay. Okay. Properties. Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. Actually don't know what's going on here. Whoa. Okay. I'm trying to figure that out. Hit screen. That's the most confusing thing. Wow. Weird. Try again. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I was like, what the hell is going on? It's super confusing. I actually don't know why it did that. But I also don't care that much, because now we're here. Okay. Better now. Let's try again. We're one hand span from the space bar. So this is going to be fairly loud, but fairly good. Bad. Started ruining it. Yeah, I don't know. I got all like weirdly off there. Anyway, I'm gonna minimize now and go back to the actual board because, well, it's freaking gorgeous. Freaking gorgeous. What are my thoughts on filming switches? Is it necessary or just overkill? Captain Ladies Man, you're asking important questions in here. Solji Osu, it was bad, man. But thank you. I appreciate it. Foremost Bear, she feels freaking great, man. Feels great and looks amazing. I love the color, like, contrast here. It's stunningly good. I thought it would not be great, but it is great. So back to the Switch films. Captain Ladies Man. I do have pretty specific thoughts on it. Until recently, I thought it was just overkill or a fad that'll go away or wasn't great at all. I've since revised my official stance on it. I do actually think that it's good, but I'm going to caveat that with 4 switches that are loose already and barely benefit from the tightening up that Switch films provide. I think for switches like Gateron's, basically everything Gateron makes, they're already tight enough. And if you move to something like a Holy Panda or something like that and try and film it, it's just too much. There's no real reason to do it. And I think that while it probably isn't going to hurt in any way other than the installation effort, and snapping the Switch top back on, I think it's overkill. I think that it doesn't really give a lot of benefit, if any. We'll find out. I had a customer who really wants films on his GAT inks. Usually I outright refuse to do that on switches where I think it's not going to be beneficial and it's just silly. But this customer wants it, so if he provides the films, I'll install them for him, and I guess we'll see with that one. But generally speaking, meh is my reaction, except for switches that are loose. Go to like Alpaca linears and it's night and day difference. With Switch films, they're great switches. Without, they're mediocre at best. I guess if you're already lubing, then okay, it makes sense to do it together. Yeah, I guess. Plus $10 labor. Oh yeah, Solji Osu, I charge like 15 cents a switch extra or something like that. So totally. On a board like this, you do the math. They really do help on T1s. I believe that. Man, I love this freaking board. I've liked the Matrix 1.2 basically the entire time I've been building them. So 4 of them now. Wait, you charge actual money for this? I do, Talisman. I do. Not like, it's not a huge amount. I mean, if we're on hour 3.5 of our stream, so it's considerably less than my hourly rate for like work and stuff. Why do I charge for it? Or is it a serious question, or are you yanking my chain? Is this a personal build or for a customer? This is for a customer. This is for Foremost Bear. Could better buy some new colored shirts with that money then. Talisman. Oh man. Yeah. Everyone does charge for it. There are some people that have offered to not charge for it before, just to like get the business growing for them as an introductory thing. Like, it didn't really work out that well for them, I think, but it doesn't matter. I do charge money for it. I don't charge usually a lot of money for it. The exception to that is if you start adding in switch LEDs, or you want a rebuild, i.e. I'm desoldering and soldering it anew, or I'm doing a bunch of through-hole components with it, like through-hole diodes or SMD diodes for that matter. It's about the same amount of effort as the build, so I charge that much again. Like if it's a rebuild and I'm desoldering it and then resoldering it, that literally charging you the same for each of those actions. But it's also it's more work. And there's specialized tools involved in it. In like, I mean, I didn't, you know, like there's a microscope here and Hacko FR301 and a PCDS 200 and all sorts of good stuff. So show you switch films under microscope. I will do that. I will do that. Going to ruin my illusion if there's money involved. I'm desperately trying to imagine yourself as a non-boomer. Oof, dude. Why? If you're a boomer, just, you know, own it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's become a term saying outdated or whatever, but it's just a different set of values and importance, I think, that people of different generations have based on their experience. Embrace your booming. Yeah, right? Liquid Night Sky, great stream as always, and thanks so much for your advice. Yeah, absolutely, man. Come check me out on Sunday. There will be a stream this Sunday. A stream this Sunday, by the way, is going to be an Ergodash. And that's going to require all sorts of work. That board has all the through hole thing. It has a bunch of stuff going on. Bunch of stuff. Bunches and bunches. It's going to take forever. But it's going to cost more for the customer because of that. Plus lubing and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean. Just don't be Karen, never be Karen. There you go. The orange looks amazing. Like, amazingly good. This is going to be out of focus now. Sorry. I turned autofocus off on this lens. But you can see the orange through there, and it looks fantastic. Yeah, I like the entire way it looks, and from the angle I look at it by, it looks good too, the orange. In fact, it looks better than from a top. Well, with the light shining down on it, from the top looks the best. But either way, this is a gorgeous board. I love the angle of these boards. It's relatively flat compared to most boards or many boards. TX84 over here, super steep angle comparatively. And I think it's not that steep. It's maybe like 8 or 9 degrees. You're hypnotized by the LED. Yeah, man. I am stunned at how good the keycap set looks on it. Some lady almost hit you in a parking lot the other day, and she had the most Karen haircut you've ever seen. See a circular O-ring under the keyboard. O-ring? Oh. Boop. Yep, that is a nylon washer. Thank you. Would have found that pretty soon. Yeah, I love that orange. Man, I am amazed. I am amazed. This is the best I've ever seen Mizu. I actually don't like Mizu that much. Camping on this board, ooh. Okay. I'm not gonna put it on, but we can imagine it right here. Oh, it would be amazing. It would look awesome. It would look gorgeous. It would look gorgeous. That is something else, man. It would look really good, but Mizu also looks really good on it. You need the red arrow accents. Camping would look great on this board, no doubt. Time to switch the caps, right? Shred Major, right? Might as well just put it on now. I'm not gonna. Yeah, actually, I think that new set, Grain, by Langlandia, would be amazing. I really do. Olive would look pretty good. I do have GMK Olive. I actually think Olive would look pretty amazingly good on it, which is surprising because I mostly don't love Olive that much. Olivia looks good on nearly every board it's ever on. Olivia is beautiful board. Or keycap set. Seriously. It's funny because I actually did not like GMK Olivia at first. So basically GMK Olivia, like in pictures and in renders, I think looks like crap. I built a board with it the first time and I saw it and I was stunned. It's a beautiful set in person. You also thinking Metropolis would look good on this? I think it would. I don't really like Metropolis that much. I did not get in on it. Botanical would look good. Ashes would look good. Everything monochromatic would look good on it. Nines would look good. Nines would actually probably look really good. White on black looks good on everything. So there's that. I wonder how like a violet or purple set would look. I bet violet on cream would look good on this. Just throw in all the... Well, Vaporwave looks good on... Vaporwave is crazy. I don't know how I feel about that. So the Go XLR, which is sitting right here, is Vaporwave colorwayed, like from the factory. That's its standard LED light. Handerbite. Handerbite hurts my brain. Solgiosu. I'm not hating on it. It breaks me a little bit when I see it. Why do certain sets like Carbon get copied all the time and not Olivia or Striker? Unknown. Olivia is beautiful. Striker would actually look good on this too. I think it would. I think this set looks really good on this though. Olive would look really good on this board. Did BBB sneak in here while you weren't looking? I don't know. I didn't see him. Hey, what about GMK Copper? Oof. Copper would probably look great on this, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I did not get in on Copper. Copper would look fantastic. If you end stream, you could raid Minterly before she raids you. Okay, I like it. I'm gonna do it. Piney Bush. My man's dropping a little late. Dropping in a little late. Hey man, we're actually about to go. But it's nice to see you, Heine. It really, really is, man. Look at this colorway on this board. Can you believe how good this looks? I don't even really like Mizu that much as a set. I own it, and it looks okay, but I'm not that into it. But for this like weird flat dark earth or olive drab, maybe olive drab color, it actually looks really good on this. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna raid Minterly. So thank you guys for all of your support tonight. And before we go, if you are not already following or subbed, you know, consider going up in this corner and giving a follow. And if you feel like it, jump onto one of my other socials that just got listed in the channel. Go to YouTube and sub there. Go to Instagram, you know, follow there. I'd appreciate it. And we can keep in touch. Every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. for now. And Sundays at 10 a.m. usually. Thanks, guys. You guys take it easy, and I will absolutely catch you guys later.
Lubed and filmed alpacas in here. Walking to class got me in shape when I was in a different uni. I went to Berkeley, so where I lived and the buildings for CS were like up a hill. So I was very healthy when I was in school. But yeah, my Samoyeds are super hyper. Thanks, Tiny Shiny. Nathan also went to Berkeley. I am not sure. Building Matrix 1.2 OG. Should check out the end of the VOD. Weird colors, but so surprisingly good. Ooh! Is the Matrix 1.2 the titanium board? Nathan also went to Berkeley? That's pretty cool. Discussing natural rights in democracies other than ours. I don't know if I understand the implications of that. What do you mean by natural rights? Hello, Dad, to see how it turned out later. I don't think it's titanium. It's aluminum. Oh. Always with that mooncake tin laugh. I'm sorry. It just like brings up what I'm working on. Honestly, if I could, I would have a little tiny workstation over here so I could just solder like this and I don't have to like crouch over. I may build myself a little tiny table just to put on top of my table so that I can like solder like a grandma. You know what I mean? I'm controlling my mouse with my keyboard. Oh, that's really cool. Olive drab Cerakote and orange plate with mizu on it. Olive drab Cerakote. Ooh, that's an interesting combo. Nobody call it blue or elf. Okay. This is the Clavier macro pad. So I think the PCB is a 40% club PCB. Uses a Pro Micro and the back has his infamous logo. Hello, excuse me. Oh my god, I hate this camera. Does not focus when I want it to. Does not unfocus when I want it to. Okay, the real question is, how the fuck do I put this together? I need my screwdriver, which I couldn't find earlier today, so I'm just going to screw it together by hand. actually ordered another one of these in his pastel purple, so I'm excited to get that too. I wish I was able to get this macro pad. He drops stuff very randomly. Like the pastel purple one that I got, he literally like opened up the sale for it at 5 a.m. PST or something, and the only reason why I managed to snag one is because I had randomly woken up early that day. And by the time I like I went back to sleep and I woke up again and it was out by the time I had woken up in real life time. This one he sent with me with this board, so did not have to fight anyone for this. Also, I like your music. I'm trying out a different category today.